FM26 was not designed to be played on a computer. This is how I have felt playing the FM26 beta, and I'm going to talk about it in this video. Let me know what you guys think. I've spent some time playing the FM26 beta here, and the more that I play the game, the more that I feel like it's just not optimized to be able to be played on a PC. And I know that Football Manager recently has talked about moving into more controller games, and there's a large body of Football Manager players who are playing the game on other platforms, which is great. Football Manager is expanding. This was bound to happen. But the more that I play the FM26 beta, it just feels inefficient and more difficult to play this game on my PC. And it is a little frustrating. Just the more that I play with the UI, it just feels very inefficient. And I think the most obvious example for me is when I go to save the game. And granted, I know that I can do this with a keyboard shortcut. But something that really bothers me is that I have to go up to this very small area of the screen to save the game. And there used to be a drop down, and you would follow your mouse and go to the save. But my mouse is up here, and now I have to go all the way down here to click on save game. I know that's not something that's super big, right? That's not something that's super important. But when you're playing the game for thousands of hours potentially, and you're putting all the time into a game that Football Manager kind of requires if you want to play it in depth, it's little things like this that take time away and feel very annoying. So even though this is something very small, just moving my mouse a little bit of a distance, I don't know, it just still bugs me a little bit. It doesn't make sense for my eye and my mouse to be up in the top right-hand corner of the screen, and I'm very suddenly shifting it to the middle. It just feels inefficient. That's one that I've done a lot. Another thing here, and something that I think might be the worst example of this, is with training. First, I think it's oddly difficult to find training. There used to be a training tab, which it isn't there anymore. But that's just something with the way the UI is set up. Like, I will go to calendar here, and we go to training. That's not too many clicks. That's not terrible. Where something goes wrong, though, is if I want to change one of the individual training focuses here. To be able to change one of these training focuses, let's say I wanted to change outfield here. If I click on outfield, it brings up a new tab where I can't see my training calendar anymore. I can't look and see what other training focuses I have. And now I have to click around here, and these are only general ones. It's not immediately obvious that I need to click on here and then go to technical if I want to do something technical, if I want to go to extracurricular and do team bonding, if I want to train set pieces. It's just not an immediately obvious way to do this, and it just feels very inefficient. But if I go to attacking, let's say I want to do attacking patient, I have to click confirm to see how it fits in with the rest of my training schedule, which just doesn't make sense. This doesn't feel optimized for PC gaming. This should come up like it did before with a smaller version of my schedule and then all of the options for training. That way I can see how it fits in with the schedule. I don't know why they changed this to show up with a new tab. It just doesn't make sense. The other thing that I think is a little bit annoying about training too, and maybe this is just because I haven't figured it out, is given now that it's inefficient to be able to change the schedule, right? If I want to change each individual thing, it's just way more clicks. I have to click here, I have to click confirm, and then I have to go down here, click another one, click confirm, and I have to do that each individually as opposed to it coming up on the screen and me being able to do it all at the same time. It's just way more clicks that's not optimized for PC gaming, which now if this screen here isn't optimized, it's even more important to be able to set up a training schedule. And it's not immediately obvious how to do that, and maybe I just haven't figured that out. But it took me a while to figure out I need to click on here to be able to create a new training schedule. And honestly, this is what the training should look like. But even still, why do I have to go up and click on it and click on that and confirm and click on them each individually? That's so many extra clicks that we didn't have to do before. It just doesn't feel optimized for PC gaming. And this is my biggest issue with the UI currently. And in the grand scheme of things, it's a really small gripe, right? Like a couple of extra clicks doesn't mean a whole lot. But the thing is, FM is such a detail-oriented game. If you're going to put a long time into this game, those small little details, for a lot of people, and at least for me, have made the game really fun. It's fun to be able to control training and transfers and squad dynamics and the tactics. All of those things are so fun. And if you're going to play it for that long, if you're going to play 10 seasons, if I'm going to play 10 seasons of this beta save hypothetically, all those extra clicks are going to add up, and it's just going to take a little bit of extra time, and it's going to be a little bit of extra annoying, and it's going to take away from the experience a little bit, but also you're just not going to be as efficient with the game. You won't be able to go on as far. I think being able to optimize the UI to have less clicks is really important. But in addition to less clicks, something else that I get the feeling of looking at the new FM UI, it doesn't look like it was meant to be viewed on a computer. And the reason that I say that is this screen here, for example, looks like it was meant to be viewed on a big screen. It looks like it was meant to be viewed on a television with a controller. And the reason that I say that is because why is the font so small? Why, if I go to my first team here, why are the player names so small? It never used to be like this. Why is everything so small on this screen? I'm like physically going in here and leaning into my screen so I can read Kevin Danso and Christian Romero. When did the font become so small? And why is there a little box around their name? That never used to be there before. And the thing is, look at all this space we have on the screen. FM has never been good about using this space. There's always been empty space on the screen. But it takes I have to lean in here. Why is the font so small? It was so much better previously. We had good font previously. I felt like it was really easy to navigate and read. But this just looks like it was meant for a bigger screen, where the font would naturally be bigger because the screen was bigger. This is not optimized for being able to be played on a PC where the screen might be smaller, because the font is just so small. I mean, we have the faces here. It's so cool being able to see the faces here now, but honestly, it makes no difference. I can't tell who's who. I can't see the faces. I don't need the faces there because they're too small to even be able to see, really. It just doesn't make sense. And the font is just so small there. And even when I click it on here, there's so much empty space here. Spurs Senior doesn't need to be this small. First choice goalkeeper doesn't need to be this small. The font is so small all around. I do also feel like a little bit that the colors here maybe aren't as bright, but that might just be me, maybe just not used to the new UI. So I'm not going to complain about that one too much. But the font is just so small. It doesn't look like it was meant to be played on PC because the font is just too small. It just doesn't make sense. I will say, I'm not going to go into everything that annoys me about the UI here because I'm sure that other people have said this. I've been kind of staying away from the Reddit boards and the SI forum threads because I want to develop my own opinion on the game. And I know right now it's a bit negative and I still want to have fun playing this, which I am. But there are some things about the UI here that just doesn't feel like it was intended to be played on a PC. And I know too recently that SI came out with the first 10 things that you should do when starting FM26, and one of them was to play it with a controller. Really not a fan of that solution because even as FM moves towards a console-based player base, there's still such a large PC player base that they need to still make this efficient on a PC. And right now, there's too many clicks. The font is too small and there's too much dead space on the screen. This is something that needs to be fixed as we move into future version of FMs. That being said, I don't want to be all doom and gloom. So I do want to talk about something that I do love about the game. And right now it's tactics. I've really enjoyed playing around with the tactics so far. This is something I'm going to continue doing. But I love the depth of the tactics. I love the team shape. I love the combined in and out of possession both. This stuff is awesome. And as I've delved more into the team instructions, I actually didn't realize until recently that we have the overview of team instructions, but we can change them in the final third. We can change them depending on whether it's the left flank or the right flank. We can change them in progression, and we can change them in build-up, something we didn't have before. I absolutely love that. That's something new that I've been playing around with. It's just like Football Manager has so much potential right now. You can feel it with the new graphics, with the stuff that they've added into the tactics. There's so much potential here. It's just that there's too much about the UI that makes the game inefficient and difficult that I feel like is holding it back. You can clearly see that the long-term future of Football Manager is bright. It's just right now, there's just too much going on with the UI that I think makes the game difficult. That being said, I'm still having fun playing FM26. It's still a super fun game, and I'm so excited to make videos and to be able to play FM26. But there's just some things that can be improved upon. So hopefully some of these issues get fixed. Let me know what you guys think of the FM26 UI. If you guys agree with what I'm saying, if you guys have other things, or maybe you guys like the way it's set up. And maybe you're not bothered about the clicks and stuff. Maybe you guys like that. Let me know what you guys think. But otherwise, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are taking care of yourselves, and I will see you all next time. Bye.